Hi and welcome back to Gamers Web. Today we're going to take a look at Conquest: Last Argument of Kings by Bellum Wargames. This is a brand new game. It's only been out a couple of weeks, and this is Bellum's first game, and it's the first foray into miniature gaming. The guys from Bellum are over in Greece, and I was first introduced to this game by actually watching a video on tabletop. Got an heads up off Warren from Beast of War on tabletop, and then another one from Justin saying, like, you need to check this out. So this is what I did. I followed the breadcrumbs, and I'm glad I did, because this game looks amazing. Okay, so the game's been in development for about 3 or 4 years now. These guys have really pumped a lot of effort into this, as you can tell when you see now. Looking at the top, it doesn't look very big. It's until I turn the thing onto its side, you can see that, you know, that's my hand span. This thing is filled with miniatures. So the game itself is a fantasy skirmish combat game, sorry, mass combat game, and features lots and lots of cool tropes that you would find in a normal fantasy game, but also some that are quite unique to this game. So this game has been in the making for quite a long while, and as such, it's quite highly anticipated. Right, so let's not waste any time, let's not mess about, let's jump in. Okay, so you've got the amazing artwork. This features the two main factions you get in the starter set, which are the 100 Kingdoms and the Spire. Now, the 100 Kingdoms are your generic medieval men-at-arms type fantasy knights, where the Spire, they're elves, but with a difference. They're not actually elves. They're not actually from which is the planet that the game's set on. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's spelled EA, but I think it's pronounced because there's like two umlauts over the top of the A. Okay, so closer look at the artwork on the side. So they're the spires. This thing is awesome. That's the abomination, which you'll see presently. And on this side here we have the men-at-arms. The miniatures are absolutely fantastic. Okay, now I have opened this because I couldn't wait to actually look at it, so I just opened it up. Okay, more than 6 centuries have passed since the fall changed humanity struggles to rebuild after that cataclysm and the long winter that followed. With the Hollow Throne empty, the 100 Kingdoms remain embroiled in internecine war, as the nobility covets the remnants of the empire, whilst the church grinds its teeth at the weakened orders. With mankind far from glory and the might of the old dominion, the enigmatic spires exert their power for the first time in aeons, shredding millennia of custom and practice. The merchant princes seek the wealth of the lesser races in an effort to break the stranglehold of the power of the Directorate and the Sovereign House exert. As the vicious games of the Elders split the mortal realm, misery and warfare spreads like a disease from their domains. Okay, sorry, I'm actually reading this stood on tiptoes because this is a very, very big box and I've got my tripod up as high as I can get. Okay, so again, this is the contents of what you get in the starter set. We have a rule book, which I'll get onto in a moment. We have 12 dice, we have some objective tokens, we have 75 miniatures in total, and we also have 28 command cards, which you use for your actual units, which I'll also get onto in a little moment as well. Plus we have bases for all the miniatures, which are right at the very bottom of the box. Right, okay, so it contains 1 mounted noble lord for the 100 Kingdoms, with cavalry stands, 24 men-at-arms with 6 cavalry stands, 12 mercenary crossbows with 3 infantry stands, 3 household knights with 3 cavalry stands and 3 objective marker models, and the spires get 1 ferromancer, 24 force grown drones with 6 infantry stands, 3 brute grown drones, with brute drones with 3 cavalry stands, 1 abomination with a monster stand, and 3 objective markers. So the objective markers are basically for the Spire and for the 100 Kingdoms. Now, these aren't the only 2 factions in the game. There are other factions such as Wargames, which are a race of diminutive creatures that covet gold and live underground, and could be akin to dwarves. And then you've got the Nord, which are a race of creatures that live in the north of the planet. Okay, and then there are other races as well. There is a orc race, which name I can't remember, but they've been announced, and they are more akin to Conan. They're more like barbarians. They're not savages, they are very intelligent. A little bit the way that Tolkien actually wrote orcs. They're not stupid, they're quite intelligent. But we'll get more into that with a future look at the game, and when I do my full review, which will go with this unboxing, we'll see more. Okay, so I'm just going to show you inside the box itself now. As I said, this is a very, very big box. I'll get the right way around. And oh, it's got a new box smell. I can smell it from here. Right, okay. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit full. Right, okay, so first thing, I've actually opened these. These come sealed, but I opened these to check them. So these are my command cards for my units. And there's also my battle cards as well, my battle order cards, which we'll go through in a moment. I got 12 d6, because the game uses nothing but d6. I've got my full colour rulebook, which is, I think it's 120 pages, 143 pages, and when I open this up, you will actually see rules of engagement, and it's actually by rules designed by Riverhorse and Alessio Cavatore. So the Maestro has come up with a really good set of rules. We'll look at this again a little bit more detail later on, but this, I'll go into more detail on the actual full review, but this is just an unboxing. Okay, so as you can see, lots of great artwork there. Plus you've got the armorless as well for the Spire and the 100 Kingdoms. Right, so the main crux of the matter is the miniatures. Now, as I said, this comes with 75 miniatures, and they're big. Right, so here's the cavalry. So like that's one cavalryman with his horse. Now you get lots of different shield options and lance options and things like that for you to actually build your units, get different heads, so you can actually have no 2 units be identical. Okay, so that's our basic cavalryman. Then we have our command asset shield sprue, which has our objective markers, and we have our 2 characters. I'll just get the right way around. Okay, so this sprue here is the, hold on a second, let's move that out of the way so we can see properly. That sprue is the Ferromancer, which is the commander for the Spire, and looks really, really bizarre. You see his head there. Very chaos, although they are actually elves. And the other sprue, the big sprue, which is this one, that's your Night Lord. As you can tell, he's got a lot of birding on his horse. Now, the one thing you don't get in this game is the command elements for your units. You don't get any standard bearers or commanders other than these 2 commanders. So if you've got a crossbow unit, they don't come with a standard bearer or a musician or anything like that, as some other games tend to do. So you've got to get those separately, which is understandable because it's a brand new game. Okay, so this is sprue 1 of the Abomination. Now it comes in 2 sprues, and it's huge when it's built. It's probably about 3-4 inches high when it's built, and it's all ball jointed, so you can actually pose it whichever way you want to. Okay, so that's mainly the body. And then this sprue here, these sprues just keep on coming. Okay, so this is the main part of the arms, the legs and the feet. You've got different arms, so you've got one here that you can actually put onto this one, so it's actually gripping like that, so you can have it posed on, say, a rock or a piece of scenic base. That's the head. Yeah, so if I can just zoom in a little bit so you can actually have a closer look. So the detail is amazing on it, absolutely gorgeous looking miniature. Very insect-like, also very Geiger-esque as well. Okay, so I've got an interview coming up, hopefully, with the guys from Bellum very shortly to find out what their inspiration was behind the Spire. Okay, so this is a brute drone. These are heavy guys. These are combat killing machines. They don't have ranged weapons. They just attack with their massive I don't know what weapon arms. They're basically their arms are end in weapons. As you see, they don't actually have hands. They just have blades, and that's one of the sprues, which will make 1, 2, 3. There's 3 of them altogether. So those, the 2 sprues make that. And then we have our force-grown drones, which is your infantry for your Spire. They have got bizarre looking shields, very tribal, and they appear to be covered in bandages of some description. As you can see on the legs here, they've got lots and lots of bandages. Now I know that there are units that have sensors on them for the 100 Kingdoms, so they've got plagues and all sorts of stuff, and they have sensors to ward away people and keep the smell away from people. I'm looking forward to seeing those. Okay, so that's the one sprue for the force-grown drones, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, so it's pointless looking at those because there's 4 of the same. And then the next sprue along, we have our men-at-arms. The typical medieval men-at-arms with lots of shields and swords. These are just armed with shields and swords. They don't have halberds or anything like that, but there's lots of different ways to build them, lots of combinations. So again, brilliant attention to detail. And to say that this is a new company and this is their first product, I'm very, very blown away with the quality. I'd say this is easily on par with anything that some of the lesser games companies compared to, say, Games Workshop could do. So easily on par with Mantic or Weird Miniatures. In fact, I'd actually say probably much better than Weird Miniatures. For a first product, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so these are the other 2 of the knights to make a unit of 3. Now, you can hear in the background the drone of pipes, because I'm in work at the moment and there's someone actually playing bagpipes outside of the hotel, outside of the building that I work in. So, okay, and here you have your crossbowmen. Now, the crossbowmen come in, there's 24 crossbowmen altogether, 12 crossbowmen altogether, and they have 2 different ranks. The first rank will be kneeling, the second rank will be stood up, so you can actually use them as volleys, do volley fire, and there's 12 on that sprue. And then we have the other sprue of the 12 men-at-arms, so altogether that makes 24 men-at-arms. And now we have our bases. Here's our large monster base, which that's the base for the miniature, that fits inside of there. So you can then just build the base up. Now I will show you how the bases go together. These are, I'll find, there we go, lots and lots of bases. So what we do is, just going to jump in quickly. Right, so you assemble your miniatures onto the relevant sized base. Pick your miniatures up, and then your miniatures will fit. This is the bad thing about doing an unboxing, because everything is in the bags. Okay, so regular size bases, They're actually about the same size as Games Workshop bases. And then you have your regiment bases. These fit inside like that, and then you just fit them in. You don't glue them in position. Basically, you just keep them like that, and then once you've taken a casualty, you remove one miniature from the base. But you can actually get your miniatures back if you have certain skills or members in your unit or your regiment. And once you've used lost 4 of these models, you take the base away, and that reduces your actual strength of your regiment. Okay, sorry about that, I just had to pause the video whilst a fire engine went past. That's part and parcel of living and working in one of the busiest cities in the world. We get lots and lots of emergency services going past. Okay, and good luck on them. They're all very valued members of society, and we'd be lost without them. Okay, so you get bases for all of the miniatures. The only faces you don't get, things you don't get bases for, are the actual objective markers. So that's a look at the miniatures. As you can see, they are very, very nice. I'm going to assemble some of the miniatures, and I'll continue with the video and show you what some of the miniatures look like when they're actually assembled. And hopefully, if I can actually get my turntable to work, I'll show you some on the turntable. I'm just having problems with it because it will not turn around properly for some reason. It turns then stops, then turns then stops. Okay, so that's a quick look at the core contents. I'll have a quick look at the cards. Okay, so here we have, I'll do the anatomy of the card in the actual full review, but that's the Ferromancer. Ferromancer is your leader for your Spire, and basically is a magic user. Okay, so it's got a march of 6, so it can move 6 inches. It's got a volley of 2, which means its range is 2, as in it can fire. That's the number you use to actually hit. It's got a clash of 2, so it's not very good at hand-to-hand combat. I can't remember what A stands for. I think A is attack, and W is its wounds. But we'll get into the rest of all that when we actually do the full review. So if we actually look at that and compare it to, say, let's have a look, what should we go for? The Noble Lord. Right, so the Noble Lord, he's a character, that's a special rule. The Noble Lord has got a move of 8, and he's got a range of 1. His volley is 1. But he's got a clash of 3, which means he's going to hit quite often. A, it'll be attacks. So he's got 5 attacks, and he's got 4 wounds. Yeah, quite good. Now, I've not read through the magic rules yet, but I will endeavour to read through all those whilst I'm doing my review. But I wanted to try and get this done as soon as possible. And then we have our actual cards, which give us victory conditions and all sorts of things for the game, which again I've not read through, so I'm not exactly sure how they play 100%. Okay, so very quickly going to look at the rules. That's back in the box. Right, so as I said, the rules are written by Alessio, and quite well set out. Now, as I said in my blurb on my review, this game reminds me so much of Warhammer. I'm talking about early Warhammer, when Games Workshop wasn't the massive corporate conglomerate, that's really hard to say, that it is nowadays, when it was still quite a young, vibrant company. This reminds me so much of early Warhammer, and I spent many years with 4 really good friends playing Warhammer every weekend. Every Sunday we played Warhammer for about 5-6 years. So we have a magic section. We have a section on terrain. Now, the magic section is massive. It's, 2 pages. Terrain, how terrain works in the game, so blocking line of sight and things like that. How to fight a battle. And then your amulets at the back. And how to assign wounds, combat actions, movement actions, morale. It's got a thing called impact, which basically, if you take damage from a unit from a charge, you've got a very good chance of taking more damage as that unit actually finishes its charge off. Quite not unique, but it's quite refreshing to see that kind of action back in this kind of game again. Right, so that is a quick look, 20-minute look at Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings by Bellum. It's available now from all good retailers and directly from Bellum themselves. If you want a really good bargain, you can shop around. I would strongly suggest using the on tabletop link that is in the description down below. And no, I don't get a kickback or anything like this. It's just these guys have been good to me in the past, and I want to send more business their way because they've actually got the game at £62.50, which its retail price is 80 plus pounds. So really good saving. Well, so that's it for the moment. If you check out the links in the video description and follow that, you'll get the full review, and hopefully you should see some more stuff for Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings from Bellum coming very soon from Games Web. As always, I've been Mark, and thanks very much for tuning in.